level. Is that not correct?
You're wrong, Senator. I'm sorry. The rating system went into effect in June. It was rated for the first time, and it was rated MA17, and it was produced with that label on it from that point forward.
And do you view those over the age of 13 as mature?
There's 3 designations that the Independent Rating Council chooses to designate the product. It's MA13, appropriate for teenagers and older, but not for young children with parental
But doesn't
guidance
have the word
suggested.
mature attached to that?
Yes, I believe it does.
And so the presumption is those over 13 years of age are mature?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
With parental discretion. I'm referring now to...
What are you thinking about?
The
if you're
MA13
suggesting
titles.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm referring to the MA13 titles, not the MA17
I understand,
titles.
but what are you thinking about if you believe that the establishment of a classification system identifies kids 13 or over as mature?
It's similar to, then the guidelines that the Independent Council uses are similar to those established by the motion picture industry on PG-13.
Well, you know, as I've indicated before, I think that all of us have great trouble with this question of censorship, and yet everybody in virtually every way understands that we have some responsibility to protect children. We don't say, well, yes, we can drink in this country, and so it's all right for everybody to drink. We decide we're going to protect our children, for example, and we're going to have certain laws that try to protect them from access to alcohol. I mean, we do that in a whole range of areas. We treat them separately in the judicial system, in the criminal justice system. We do that in a range of areas. With respect to the question of the video arcade and the video games in which a woman is grabbed by the neck with a hook and drilled in the neck with a tool, and someone grabs the heart out of a character, we ought to have just as much concern about protecting our children against that sort of trash as we have in dozens of other areas in protecting our children. And I honestly, Mr. White, I read your statement, and I honestly think that you don't understand what we're talking about here. Let me tell you why. In your final point about Night Trap, you say this: finally, there is some research suggesting a short-term, momentary increase in playful, aggressive behavior after playing video games or watching violent television programs. There is no research concluding that this has any lasting impact. In fact, quite the opposite is true, you say. My sense is that you really don't get what this hearing is about, and I don't mean to single you out. It's likely there are others that ought to be sitting in your place. But you know, we, it seems to me, have to begin to exercise some common sense to protect our children. And when you say, and when others say, and my guess is the person that marketed this particular game says, this is not for kids. This is adult entertainment. The fact is, you know and I know that kids in this country will have wide access to it. And we need to exercise responsibility to see that we protect those children. And frankly, prior to this hearing, I've seen very little effort on the part of people in the industry to do that. The effort has been to try to follow the money tracks and see how you can profit. Unfortunately, profiting at the expense of America's kids is not moral profit in my judgment. And my hope is this hearing provides a direction that is much more constructive for this country and for our kids. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Dorgan. Thank you very much. I look forward to continue to work with you. I have some more questions. Mr. White, in the rating system that Sega has, beyond the MA17, MA13, and the rest, you have a category non-approval.
Yes, sir.
So that that's indication on the guidelines themselves that Sega has established that you profess an intention to exercise some self-control here. And I read from the latest version of the guidelines, which is December 2nd of 1993. As always, Sega will not approve products which contain A1, material that encourages criminality of any kind. Isn't making a game and selling it that encourages a kid to point a gun at a television set and rewards his success or her success by increasing the firepower of the gun, encouraging criminality? I mean, we're all aware of this incredible outbreak of gun violence in our country. Is it responsible? Let me put it another way. Is it within the terms of the guidelines